What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream, and happy Monday to everyone, especially if your team is going to be top of the Premier League at Christmas. Let's hope they can be top of the league at the end of the season. Now, the reason I've got Thierry Henry on the background today on the green screen, a lot of you were saying, you know, maybe go and get Arteta or someone on the green screen. We'll get there eventually, I hope. But, you know, certain teams' goats are acting a little crazy on this Monday, people. I can't lie. Certain goats are acting wild. So, you know, our goat would never act a certain way that a certain goat is acting for a particular team somewhere up the road, people. So I'm going to pay some homage to Thierry, and, you know, he knows how to behave himself. But, it's an interesting one, people. It is an interesting one. But big up to everyone. Yeah, Sui. You should have CR7 as the green screen. Ronaldo let off the whole clip. Man came in with the shotgun, booted down the door, and just started ringing off. He said, listen, do you know what? We're going to talk about that before we get into it, because it is big news. And yeah, everyone's talking about it. I'm going to give my opinion. I want to know what you guys think about the whole Cristiano Ronaldo situation. I mean, for me, I find it really funny, right? Just because I've got a lot of friends who are Man U fans. I love bantering them, right? And we've been Banter FC at times. Let's keep it 100. We have. Right now, they're looking like Banter FC. To me, because a lot of people are being very critical of Ronaldo, and I understand why. In fact, let's get the first poll of the day. Do you think Ronaldo's in the wrong for what he's done? Because a lot of people think he is. And then I'm going to do another poll regarding Arsenal and Ronaldo afterwards. But I think Ronaldo has got to a point where he's like, listen, I'm leaving and I'm bringing down everything with me. Do you think CR7 was wrong for the interview? If he was staying at the club, I would say, you know, that's outrageous. But because he's leaving, he don't care. It's ether settings. He's dissing everyone. Window shopper business, 50 Cent. He don't care. He's gone for Rooney. Man said Rooney's, what did he say? He said, look at the shape I'm in and look at him. Rooney's younger than Ronaldo. Man said he's better looking than him. He said Ranić's not even a coach. Why was he brought to Man United? He's got no respect for Ten Hag. He said the facilities at Man United are the same. Man said the gym, the jacuzzi, the swimming pool, even the chef. Man went for the chef. What's the chef done to you, bro? You know what I mean? It's a bloodbath. It is a genuine bloodbath, people. I'm telling you. He's gone for everyone. He's gone for everyone. You know what? I'm going to keep it 100. I'm keeping it 100. I can't lie, people. Because it's not happening within our own club, Arsenal fans, and I got to be honest, a lot of the time the drama has come from us. But because it's happening to another club, I love it. I'm not even going to cap. I absolutely love it, people. And you know what? We live in a society now and in football where nobody speaks their truth anymore. We do press conference reaction. It's all, you know, made up stuff. They've been told to speak. This guy's come in and said, listen, Piers, I need to speak, right? We need a conversation. He's going for everyone. No one's safe. Apparently, he's talking about the Kroenkes tonight as well. So, listen, man, I don't mind. I can't lie, people. I don't mind. He's let the clip off. I'm sick of all this, like, oh, going to a press conference. Are you interested in this player? Oh, no, I'm not. I don't want to speak about other players. What do you think about the way you've been treated? I refuse to say anything. Speak up. He knows it's over. So he said, who cares what I say now? I'm going. Last game done. I'm finished. I'll never play for that club again. Rooney, you're ugly. Your gym facilities are a shambles, yeah? You've got the same chef cooking fish and chips, yeah? Ranić ain't even a coach. Everyone's getting it. I love it, people. I'm sorry, I'm with it. Now, listen, I can understand if you are a Manchester United fan. You're going to turn around and go, yo, that's disrespectful what you're saying about Ten Hag, and no one's bigger than the club. And I totally understand that. I totally get that. But at the same time, speak your truth, people. Sometimes in life, speaking your truth will offend people. But sometimes, all the time, within reason, speak your truth. I got no problem with it. Yeah, man's gone for everyone. So I'm with it, people. Now, the second question, according to reports, I don't know if anybody's just seen the reports, right? There's a report here that I'm just reading off screen. It says Cristiano Ronaldo is set to be fined £1 million by Manchester United, which is the maximum fine that can be put towards him. It's a 2-week fine, 2 weeks' wages, 500 grand a week, pocket change to him. He could be sacked before the January transfer window, making him a free transfer. Now, I'm going to end that poll shortly, and I'm going to start the drama. I think a lot of you know what this question is going to be. And I've probably mentioned this question before, but could do with a striker. Free transfer. You thinking what I'm thinking, people? I want to start some controversy in there. What did Stormzy say? Mel made me do it, I think he said. What about Mikel made me do it? The remix. 20 minutes to go. At the Etihad, we need a goal. Jesus running all over the place. Need a striker to come on. Who would you rather, people? Edward? Let's get in the comments. Listen, you know me, people. I like controversy as long as it's the right kind of controversy. Let's get the second poll. People saying time out. All right, Eddie comes on then. Last 20 at the Etihad. Let's see what he does against Ruben Diaz. Although, to be fair, he might do a bit after the other day. Second poll of the day. And it's a wild one. Let me end the first poll. 55% of you saying he's not wrong for what he did, which is interesting. Second poll of the day and most controversial. I'm going to keep it short, sweet. CR7 to Arsenal. Free transfer January. Yes or no? I want to know. I want to know. Who sung that again? That was a hit back in the day. Joe, I think that was. CR7 to Arsenal. Free transfer in January. I want to know, people. I want to know. People saying you're bugging. I want to know. More polls than in my base. Dear. Steve Adams said I'd love him. Shaw said, let's have a legend. I will buy CR7. Joe, that was a big tune, by the way. I want to know how there could be all that and more. Yo, by the way, why don't they make R&B like they used to? Again, I know that's a very old thing to say. They don't make R&B like the early 2000s, man. These men were breaking down in the video, you know. Ray J was outside in the rain. They don't know about R&B. I don't even know who makes R&B these days. I don't know. They dance all the time. But anyway, would you bring Ronaldo to the carpet? He would upset the dressing room. Listen, I'm being honest. I'm being totally honest here. Footballing point of view, he's better than what we've got in terms of certainly the backup. The problem is, come on, I know I'm bugging a little bit here. That was a tune as well. Won't you stop bugging me? Don't you stop bugging me? Who sung that one? I can't remember that one. R&B has gone real. Yeah, that was some real baby making music back in the day, man. I don't know what it is now. It's all dance music. They dance in the R&B videos now. Listen, he would want to manage the club. Let's be real. He would probably tell Arteta to sit down in the change room, say, I'll give the team talk. Josh Yar said, no, Curtis, no. Listen, I can see the community are not interested. But listen, you know me, I got to ask the question. CR7 out of contract. Somebody's going to take him. Would you take him at Arsenal? I think most of you would say no. Let's be real. Josh Yar said no. Damage, was it? Damage, that's it. Bugging me. Anyway, let me move on. Would you take Ronaldo over Zaha? Nah, I wouldn't. I think with me, I don't know. I can see the fairy tale in things, you know, and sometimes you shouldn't. Sometimes you just got to be real with it. You know, in my head, I've got this crazy thought process that Ronaldo signs for Arsenal in January, and then he helps us overcome Manchester City and we win the title. Man U fans are going crazy. Man City fans are fuming. It's an unbelievable plot twist. The reality is £500,000 a week, the biggest ego we've possibly ever seen in football. It wouldn't happen. He would absolutely obliterate our dressing room. So, yeah, I'm being real. We don't want Ronnie. The fairy tale side said yes, but the reality is you couldn't bring him anywhere near this football club. There's no way that Arteta could manage him. But yeah, and 500 grand a week. He'd probably want part of the club, to be honest, how much his wages are. That's what I'm thinking as well. Yeah, it's one of them. If Arteta wouldn't tolerate Aubameyang, there is no way. Curtis Ronaldo is an old Bentley who will cost more than he will. It's true. It's true. You're buying a Bentley from like 1985 and the parts cost a fortune and it's a 4-litre engine, petrol's through the roof. You can't do it. You can't do it. 2 million in a month in wages, 10 million till May. 10 million to win the league, people. 10 million to win the league. Listen, let's leave it. Let's leave it. He gave us, the smoke, the interview. I love the interview, though. I'm not going to cap. I know Man U fans think he's a disgrace, but I'm going to be honest. The interview is absolutely brilliant, in my opinion. That's the kind of drama I like waking up to on a Monday morning. Right, let's move on. Let's move on. No Ronaldo. Everyone's saying they don't want Ronaldo. Let's end the poll. 64% of you say no. 36% say yes. It is fairy tale settings. The game How We Do was a tune, never gets old, you're right. But if the Bentley helps you win the Premier League, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. I think we've done that one anyway. We've covered that one. Right, let's just briefly look back. And to be honest, this game feels like it was months ago, to be honest. Wolves 0, Arsenal 2. Arsenal collected what was necessary. They went, they picked up, and they left. They done the business. So, top of the league at Christmas. Happy days. 3 points in the bag. I'm not even going to talk about the game for too long. I'd rather look at the league table, to be honest, which we will. Light work in the end-ish. Light work in the end. That first half was a bit stinky again. The second half, we turned up the heat, and they couldn't live with it. Martin Odegaard on the double. The lights must have been shining brightly, people. Shine bright like a diamond. It's Monday. I'm full of energy, so the singing's back. But anyway, player ratings. Do you know what? I'm going to be totally honest. I'm freestyling. I haven't even written the player ratings down. So again, I'm leaning. I'm shoulder barging the community a little bit here. Let me know what you think regarding the player ratings. I'm just going to skip through it quickly. First half was shocking. Second half was 30. I think what we've all said, or what I was saying, and a lot of you in the comments were saying, the second half was mature. The second half was professional. I think we showed maturity in that second half to win that game. Where in the first half, I felt we were kind of, I don't know, but I think sometimes we're turning up at these grounds thinking we're top, we'll beat them. And it doesn't work like that. Bottom of the league or not, still a difficult game. He's still got on the right. Big up Broads in the chat. Wolves were so negative. I think, listen, Safa, lowest scorers in the league, no fit striker. How were they actually going to act towards us? Were they going to come at us all guns blazing? They're gonna struggle if that happens. So, yeah, man. Let's go through the player ratings quick. As I said, I'm freestyling. I've turned up in the booth with no lyrics, Jay-Z style, people, straight off the top. Aaron Ramsdale in goal. Big up Wolves FI, who said Arsenal and Wolves were level on points early Feb. Since then, 27 EPL games later, Arsenal's been the best. Wolves have been the worst. Do you know what? Because I know you're a big part of the community. I think Wolves are in trouble. I honestly do. I think Wolves are in trouble. I would have never predicted Wolves get relegated at the start of the season, but I think they're going to have a problem. I don't know where the goals are going to come from. I'm not sure this Diego Costa's going to do it for you either. Aaron Ramsdale, give him a 7. 7 out of 10 for Aaron Ramsdale. 7 out of 10? Yeah, 7 out of 10 for Aaron Ramsdale. He was steady, kept a clean sheet, done his job, and Man are saying Curtis is Arteta's cone man now. Man are hammering me in the profile pics as well, putting up pictures where I'm with the green screen. It's sad. It's absolutely sad. The community, you don't miss a shot. I can't lie. I thought Ronaldo's interview was bad. You lot are taking screenshots of but I don't mind, people. You know me. I'm shameless with it. We move, people. Happy Monday, people. Man United fans, your GOAT thinks you're, a bit of a mess. He just wanted a new toaster, some new dumbbells, and he don't want Dave from Salford cooking fish and chips for pre-match. That's all he's asking for. But Smooth 1J, that's borderline timeout, but it's something I would probably do, so I respect it. Let's go to the back four. I thought Zinchenko was poor. I'm going to be totally honest. I thought Zinchenko was our worst player. I'm just thinking back, by the way. Because as I said, I haven't written these down. I thought Zinchenko had a poor game. And I thought Traore caused him a lot of problems. He gave the ball away. I think it was possibly up there as his worst game. I'll probably give him a 5, I'm going to be totally honest. I thought he had a bad game. He couldn't live with Traore. Wasn't getting stuck in. Tidy on the ball, but defensively, he's not a defender. That's the problem. We'll get away with him when we dominate possession. There's going to be certain days this season where I think Zinchenko's going to be the weak link in our team. Because if you was playing against Arsenal right now and he was in the back four, if I was the manager, he is the person I would target. I would say, right, he drops into midfield. He doesn't recover very quick. He doesn't really look like he wants to defend. He's the guy I'm going for. Yeah, Martin, I think the system does protect him. He gave the cross for the second goal. Did he cross it? Got to the byline. Yeah, the cross was all right. First shot was blocked. I mean, I can't give him an assist for that. It wasn't even Zinchenko. All right, people saying give him a 6. I thought he was poor, though. No, I'm giving him a 5. I'm giving him a 5. But we move. It's not the end of the world. We won the game. Ben White at right back. I thought he was solid. They didn't trouble him. Zinchenko doesn't like greased up limbs. Yeah, the greased up turkey of Adama caused him problems, though. I'm giving him a 5. Ben White, for me, gets a 7. Solid again. Oh, the long ball. That pass was outstanding. We notch it up a bit. 7.5. The crossfield pass, was it to Jesus? Jeez. He's, top quality. That I'll give him 7.5. Saliba. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Whoa. Saliba. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Saliba's just class. I don't even know what to say about it. Man are calling him Big Daddy Saliba, just gets an 8. Just because he's so good. Wolves FI, thank you for your super chat, bro. After Christmas, we have J-Lo. So I am confident he can save us. Listen, I mean, I'm not sure what Jennifer Lopez is going to do for you unless she's twerking in front of the opposite manager. I'm joking, by the way. I'm joking, Jennifer Lopez, I know you're talking about Julian Lopetegui, but J-Lo, it was a whole joke I had going. It was a dad joke, it didn't land. But I thought it was funny, ain't that funny? Don't me, you have me love. J-Lo settings, man. Jenny from the block. She had Jadakiss and Styles P on a track. I was in shock that day, by the way. Anyway, we move. Big up Wolves FI. Will Wolves stay in the Premier League? I think you're in trouble. I still think there are worse teams than Wolves in the league, by the way. But where are the goals coming from, man? 8 goals this season. 2 strikers injured, and you've got an old Diego Costa who's headbutting people, getting sent off, man. I think they've got problems. You've got to get a striker in January or get Jimenez back fit or hope Diego Costa pulls off a miracle. Saliba gets an 8. Gabriel? I thought Gabriel had a good game as well, to be fair. I thought Gabriel had a good game. Ruben Neves to the carpet I would take, by the way. Yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna hit Saliba down to a 7.5 because I actually thought he made it. There was a couple of mistakes. I actually think, am I thinking of the game properly? I thought Gabriel was the better of the two. Am I confusing the games here, people? I thought Gabriel was better than Saliba. Gabriel better than Saliba v Wolves? Yeah, man. I'm giving him an 8.5. Now I think about it. Yeah, 8.5. 8.5 for Gabriel. He was better. I was confusing the games there. He was definitely better. He made some great blocks. No mistakes. There was a couple of times Saliba, yeah, nearly a red card and penalty. I can't lie. So I'm itching him down to a 7.5. And yeah, Gabriel for me was the better. So I'm giving Gabriel an 8.5. I think that was his kind of, how have you not picked me for the World Cup performance? And I thought he did well. Really good performance from Gabriel. Let's go into the midfield. Granit Xhaka. Well, let's hope they've got good toilet roll in Wolverhampton, because I think he would have needed it. He was on the pitch for about 5 minutes. What can we give him as a player rating? 5, 6, anything. But he had the running belly, I think, by the way. So not applicable. But yeah, he came off early and we got away with it. Thomas Partey, I thought, was solid again. I give him a 7.5. Yeah, DJ Sweets, I moved him down. 7.5 for Saliba, 8.5 for Gabriel. Granit gets a number 2, a big number 2. I give Thomas Partey a 7.5. I thought he was solid. He was in that pivot by himself. I wondered how he would get on in that pivot by himself. I thought he was solid. It wasn't his best game, but he was rock solid again. Kushel settings. 7.5. Martin Odegaard. Solar-powered Odegaard, people. The light was shining on him, and he shone the light on this performance. We've said many times he needs to shoot more, and he did. He shot a lot more and got 2 goals. Man of the match for me. 9 out of 10. Match winner. Was he instrumental throughout the game? Not really. First half was a little bit quiet. But he scored 2 goals. And that's it. 3-point collect and get out of there. It was important, people. I thought the second goal was particularly good as well. And this is what you need from a captain. Captains have to display leadership at certain moments. That doesn't always mean shouting and screaming. Sometimes that means, I'll win you the game. I'll make things happen. And that's what we needed from him, and that's what we got from him. 9 out of 10, Martin Odegaard. 2 goals. Second goal was really good. Wins us the game. And that's it. Poor first half, picked up second half. Listen, if he doesn't score those 2 goals, it's a questionable performance. But the reality is, those 2 goals change everything. So, 9 out of 10. Simple as that for me. Goals win games, people. Let's talk about the front three. Granit Xhaka's here. He said, just got out the bathroom. What did I get? A 10, I'm guessing. A big number 2, I think. He's the best Norwegian in the league, says Thierry Henry FC. Well, he scored more than Haaland on this particular day. Let's talk about Gabriel Martinelli. I thought Martinelli was a little bit quiet. Not poor in terms of, I wouldn't say he got on the ball and made mistakes. I just don't think he was on the ball as often as we would have liked. And I got to be honest, I thought Semedo clamped him a little bit. Last of them said 7. I would probably bring him a bit lower. I think 6. I thought Martinelli was pretty average. I thought Semedo gave him a difficult day. I can't remember him doing that much in terms of end product. Wasn't bad, but 6. One eye on his first World Cup. Roscoe said 7. Martinelli 6. Well, you're moving on with the others. Martinelli 7. He was important in both goals. That heel was crazy. He had the shot in the first one, didn't he? The second one that got blocked. Yeah, the live chat, it's something that's been happening all morning, people. So I'm not panicking, don't worry. It's been a complaint. It's all over Twitter this morning. The live chat numbers are not moving on videos at the moment. So it's saying that there's about 60 people or whatever. However many are in when you first click on live, it's just getting stuck on that. So I can't even say thank you to the 1,000 of you. I will say thank you anyway, no matter how many of you are here. But I know from the comments there's lots of you here, people. Contributed to both goals. All right, we'll give him 6.5. I don't think he was a 7, I'm going to be honest. The back heel to Zinchenko. Okay, am I being harsh on him? I thought he was... Was he the better of the 2 wingers? Possibly. Possibly the better of the 2. Yeah, don't worry about the numbers, people. Don't worry. Forget the numbers. Saka and Martinelli were cheeks, but Saka was worse, said yes, sir. I'm giving him a 6.5. Let's move on to Saka. I thought Saka was going through the motions again. I do think some of these players had one eye on the World Cup. I honestly do. Don said our wingers don't do enough. Well, one thing I've said, and I always say this about front lines, ultimately, there's three of you up there. When the striker doesn't score many, you start turning to your wingers. That puts more pressure on the wingers. Now, at the moment, Gabriel Jesus is not hitting the back of the net. So we're now looking at Saka and Martinelli more to score goals. And on this particular day, they didn't. I didn't think Saka was particularly good. Last game before the World Cup, I'm going to kindly give him a 6. Kindly. I don't think he was that good. But I give Martinelli 6.5. I think he was slightly better. Ram Kumar, big congratulations. Big C, elated to announce the birth of my first child, a baby girl, like 8 hours back. First time parent. Big up yourself. And unlike Gabriel Jesus' last 10 games, you are hitting the target, my friend. And there is no greater target than that target. So congratulations. Enjoy. It's a blessing. Sleep, by the way. Forget about sleep for probably the first 2 to 3 years. But listen, congratulations and enjoy. I'm sure you will. Maybe just credit the Wolves defence in terms of, yeah, listen, and that's a good point, Echo. Sometimes you just got to say, you know what? They made life difficult for us. Our wingers didn't really, I saw them double up on Saka a lot of times. He struggled to get past them. And Semedo got tight to Martinelli throughout the game. So it was difficult. It was difficult for them. So yeah, we move on. I give Martinelli a 6.5 and I give Saka a 6. This one is difficult because, as I said, people, I'm freestyling today. I haven't written any notes with player ratings. I'm just simply going to sort of roll the dice and go for it. Again, I get confused every time I talk about Gabriel Jesus now because I'm like, do I have to just focus on the positives and say he's so much transformed our attack? He's a major part of the reason that we're top of the league. Or do I have to start saying the guy hasn't scored for 10 games and that's not good enough? The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. If we're being totally honest, he deserves huge praise for the performances and the industry and the work rate, but he does deserve some constructive criticism for not scoring. Fitz said to win the Premier League, you need both a regular goal-scoring midfielder and striker. In January, Arteta, Edu and Kroenkes must face up to this fact and do what's needed. Thank you for the super chat, Fitz, and I agree. Ram Kumar said, the best part is my wife is a big fan of yours. She also heard you read out my comment. Big up Ram Kumar and big up the wife and big up your daughter. And listen, well done to all three of you, man, and enjoy. Big respect. I want to know your thoughts. Before I give the player ratings, give me your thoughts on Gabriel Jesus in terms of this performance and any feelings moving forward. I'm going to be totally honest. I think he's been brilliant. I think he helps us every game, but I am concerned about 10 games without a goal. There's no way I can not be. Because there is going to be games where Saka and Martinelli get wrapped up and you're going, Gabriel Jesus, go and get us the 3 points. And if he doesn't do it, then ultimately, what is he there for? Now, let's see what you're saying. South London's finest, I'm getting worried, especially when looking at players like Mitrovic and Tony banging goals in. Amar said, football has changed. Maybe you don't need a 25-goal striker to win the league. Look at City for the past few years. They spread the goals. It's a good point because people are now saying that Man City don't look as effective with Haaland in the team because now they're playing through him. The difference is De Bruyne will get you 15 goals. Bernardo Silva will get you 10 to 15. Mahrez will get you 10 to 15. You know, they share the goals around. Foden will get you 10. They've got 4 or 5 players capable of getting double figures. What we need is Xhaka to get 10. Or Thomas Partey to get 10, or close to 10, 7, 8 each. Odegaard get 10, Saka get 12 to 15, Martinelli 12 to 15. Jesus maybe gets you 14, 15. Smith Rowe comes back, gets you 7 or 8. Gabriel gets you 6 or 7 goals as well. If we can do that, then we can say, all right, cool, we get away with it. I would still be very keen on Arsenal buying another striker. I'm going to be totally honest. I think you need a plan B at times. King's Football said, Jesus is our Firmino. He's immense to our attack. I'm not concerned as long as the team score. That's what's important. We had Aubameyang scoring 20 plus, but the team didn't score enough. And I hear you on that. I totally hear you with that. And I've alluded to this before, that he could become our Firmino. The only difference you would say with Firmino had Salah and Mane. So they were saying, don't you worry about scoring the winner, we'll score it. If Jesus doesn't, are Martinelli and Saka at that level? Are they going to become the main scorers? That's my only slight concern. I'm going to give him a 7.5 for the performance because I thought he was good again. Industrious, he hit the bar. He covered every blade of grass. There was a time he ran back 30 yards and tackled Adama Traore. This Arsenal team must absolutely love the guy, because if I'm in midfield and Jesus is doing that, I'm going to absolutely love you. But ultimately, when he comes back from this break, I do want to start seeing him hitting the back of the net as well. Just to take the pressure off at times, I think. But maybe the World Cup is a break that he needs. He's top. He'll go there, different environment. LSU Wyatt, thank you for the super chat or super sticker. Really appreciate it. Lubos said, Man U have issued a statement and will be buying a new kettle, toaster and fridge freezer before the players return from the World Cup. Jason said, the position in the league is saving Gabriel Jesus. If he was fifth, fans would be asking for his head. Oh, and you know what? There is some truth in that. Let's be real. If we'd lost some of these games, we'd be calling him, he's a bit of a Lacazette. He runs around, tackles, he don't score. So are we there because of him or in spite of him? Again, the Southampton game was probably the only game where I've looked at it and said he should have scored and won us that game. He had two very good chances, but because we're top, I suppose the comment is not factual right now. So, as long as he's contributing, we're good. I just hope it doesn't become our downfall further down the line. But I do understand it. I do think there's an element of truth there. Big up Josh Shah, who said, big up Curtis. Jesus is the catalyst. Nothing to worry about apart from him getting injured. Big up from Houston C, first time in the chat. Big up, bro. Biggest need is someone who fits the mentality of the group. No prima donnas. Yuri wants to be there. Listen, I trolled a little bit at the start of this saying, should we bring Ronaldo in on a free? And listen, I wouldn't. Not because he doesn't have quality, because it's about the group. If this team's going to achieve anything, it's the collective that is going to take us there. And we need people that are about the collective. And certainly Gabriel Jesus is about the collective. What I would say to him, if I was his manager, is, listen, I love all the work rate. I love the industry. I love the fact you get all over the pitch. Just at times in the game, play the whip for the 18. At times, don't run about the whole game. At times, think, right, the next 10, 15, 20, we're on top, we're dominating. Let me try and get that goal. That's what I would just say to him if I was his manager. But I think he's a fantastic player. And he deserves a lot of credit. Like I said, I don't think Jesus it's not going to be a stats thing with him. I don't think we're going to go, look at the goals. We're going to go, look at the goals, look at the stats, look at the work rate, look at the assists, look at everything. Pratim said my chat got deleted. Not sure why, bro. Vishal said, remember, Curtis Arteta has a history of not developing strikers. Remember what happened with Ober and Lacazette. Both did not thrive under it. Now, somebody made this comment the other day. And I didn't really know how to totally approach it, because somebody was saying, they said it a bit different, but they said Arteta demands so much from his striker that strikers do not thrive in his system. Ultimately, Aubameyang got worse under Arteta. Lacazette got worse under Arteta. Jesus, I'm not saying getting worse under Arteta, but in terms of the numbers in this system playing through the middle, are your numbers going to drop? Because he wants different things from you, and he's trying to build a collective more than an individual winning a golden boot, but maybe not for the good of the team, if we like. So Jesus will bring after Christmas. Let's hope so. Cliffo said those strikers didn't develop because they're a lot older. That's a good point. Oz said it's not the system, it's the players. Big up Super Kev. Jesus is too busy being busy. Focus on finishing the chances. Why always me said Jesus has chances. He needs to be clinical. This is the last thing I'm going to say about Jesus because I don't want people to think I'm getting onto him because trust me, I'm not. But every Arsenal fan has a right to say, you should be scoring more. My one concern about Gabriel Jesus is when Lacazette was playing up front, it got to the point where he wasn't even getting big chances, right? Because he just was never around the penalty area. With Jesus, my one concern with him is that he keeps getting chances and he's missing them. That's my one little concern with him. Even against Wolves, he hits the bar. So it's just a case of him converting them. Now, if we're top of the league and this good with him not scoring, imagine if he does start scoring goals, how good our attack can be. So I'm giving him a 7.5. I don't want to get onto him. He has been fantastic for us. And he's a big part of the reason that we are top of the league. So, yeah, hopefully the goals come after the World Cup. I think he can get to 15 league goals. He's got 5 already. We're not even halfway through. So I believe 15 league goals, 10 assists. That's 25 goal contributions. That would be outstanding. You know, that's just the same as a top striker getting 23 goals and 2 assists. Same thing for the team. In terms of the bench, Cedric, Reece Nelson, El Neni came on in the 90th. Fabio Vieira is the one I'm just going to talk about. What will we give Fabio Vieira? I'm going to be honest, I was slandering him a little bit until he got the assist. GR Hotbad said, you've been watching someone else as he plays everywhere, not just through the middle. Listen, I know he does that. My point is, do we want him to do that? At times, do you want him in the penalty area? You know, and he is having good chances as well. Vieira, what are we giving him? Fabio Vieira. I was criticising him. Listen, I'm going to give him a 7 for the assist. And I felt he got slightly better towards the end of the game as well. I'm going to give him 7 for the assist because the goal was vital. We weren't sure where it was going to come from. And that was a very good cross. The weight of the cross, the direction of the cross. Yeah, I was shamelessly saying I've always rated him despite being a little bit critical of him. All right, very critical of him before the assist. I've given him the 7. As I said before, this now needs to be the start of Fabio Vieira's career at Arsenal. He missed pre-season. He was injured, moved to a new country. You need pre-season. He hasn't started regularly in what I would call the first team, right? He's played in Europa League, Carabao Cup. That's a hard team to probably play in. When you've got players that are not actually, playing at the top of their game. He can go to Dubai with the team, 10 days, play a couple of friendlies, get more settled into the group, have his pre-season, get that fitness level up, come back and really go for it in the second half of the season. So in the words of Arsene Wenger, he may actually be like a new signing for us in the second half of the season. So I'm hoping that we see a different Fabio Vieira. So he gets a 7 for me. He is still adapting to the league. You know, we've said many times, Thierry Henry struggled his first few games. Dennis Bergkamp, it happens. So every player is entitled to some time. But I'm just hoping we get a little bit more out of him. Just imagine, forget new signings. Imagine if after the World Cup we've got a better Fabio Vieira and we've got Smith Rowe back from injury. That is going to be a massive boost to this squad, having those two coming back. Southern Guna said Vieira needs jam, collage, dressing, steak, potatoes, rice, and fat. Yo, I'm telling you, he'll get stronger. He'll get used to it. Zach said he didn't have a pre-season, exactly. And pre-season is the base to build off. Curtis ESR looks muscly. Yeah, he'll have been in the gym the last couple of months. ESR, I think, is a top player and can really help us. So, let's see where that. Our depth is better than we think, said Roscoe. I think in some areas, if Reece Nelson can develop, he can help us out wide as a backup for Saka. Eddie, for me, is not the answer. Midfield, I still think we're short. I think Fabio, I do think there is a bit of a gem there. It's just whether we can unearth him in the Premier League. I hope so. Last of them said, trust me, Irish moss and dumplings, only diet. Gunnar Graham, trouble with the mini break for Vieira is most of the first team won't be there. Yeah, I mean, we'll have Odegaard, Zinchenko, Gabriel. Yeah, I said Odegaard. Who else is going to be there? Fabio Vieira, of course. Eddie and Nketiah. Yeah, there's only a few. There's not many. We are coming for you, Baldy. I told you, man. I don't know if anybody's seen these reports that came out last night. Pep Guardiola apparently is considering his future at Manchester City. You know, that's the pressure. He ain't felt that pressure. I told you when we go to the Etihad, we're slapping him round his bald head. We ain't playing. So maybe he'll be on his merry way. That's the end of player ratings. Mikel Arteta, I mean, he picked the right team. He brought on Fabio Vieira. He got the assist. I got to give him an 8 out of 10, really. Got to give him an 8. He picked our full-strength team. He brought on Vieira when, I was saying maybe just go El Neni. So I'm going to give him 8 out of 10. I think he deserves a good rating and a great way to end this kind of first part of the season for Mikel Arteta. So, yeah, he gets an 8 for me. Gets an 8. The other subs he made late on. So 8 out of 10 for Mikel. Daniel said, big up Big C, still really over the when yesterday man looked at the table and told Newcastle to relax. Real talk, what's the best youth academy in Europe? Listen, I like what Newcastle are doing, you know. So I was like, yeah, man, big up Newcastle. But then I'm like, yo, they need to calm down still. They're getting a little bit too good. So yeah, man, big up Newcastle. What's the best youth academy in Europe? That's a tough one to say. Barcelona have got an unbelievable record of producing players over the years. I would say theirs is one of the best. Chelsea have produced a lot, although they cherry pick and spend big money, so theirs a little bit different. Ajax, like Nimbo said, theirs is good. Probably Barcelona over the years has been one of the best when you look at how many players have come through there into their first team, you know. That would be my initial thought process. Big up Ricardo said, Big C, I've put my son Chris onto your show. He loves it and always laughs. Big up my friend. Big up Ricardo and Chris. Appreciate the support. South London's finest said has to be Chelsea. In terms of authentic, I'm saying Barca because a lot of them boys come through their system where Chelsea go and cherry pick the best players. But Chelsea have a great record of producing and selling players for big money. I can't even hate. So, yeah, those are the ones that spring to mind. Ajax, like you've said as well. West Ham, yeah, West Ham have got a good one. They've had some good ones over the years. We should go for Paulinho in January from Fulham. He'll be a good backup. He's a good player. He is a good player, by the way. I saw him a few times for Fulham this year. He looks very good. Anyway, let's move on. Last bit of waffle before the season ends. I'm going to skip through this quick. It almost feels like this game was so long ago that I'm just going to get through it quick and just go through it. It didn't look like the longest of press conferences. Anyway, a lot of people saying Southampton, they have a very good academy. He doesn't look too happy. Maybe this is at the end of the first half because I wasn't happy either, but we handled business. After seeing us beat Wolves 2-0, we've gone 5 points clear at the top of the table. Arteta faced the media for the final time before the World Cup. On whether being 5 points clear after 14 games is significant. It's great to be where we are. We're enjoying every moment. We have a break. We have to reflect on what we are doing and be very much prepared for what is going to come after the World Cup. Our aim is to play better as a team every single day, to have better tools to do what we want on the pitch. I can say that it's been phenomenal to work with these players and staff. On whether he's frustrated that we are having a break, he said, when a team is in the moment, you want to carry on. Let's skip through that. On whether Odegaard not going to the World Cup will make a difference, he said, I don't have a clue. Obviously, he's got 2 international games. I mean, he's playing 2 friendlies for Norway for World Cup preparation for the other teams. Listen, I don't know how many of you are in the chat because the chat is absolutely bugging on YouTube today. So it's saying people got 50 people, 60, 70 people. Can we get 1,000 likes? That's how I'll know how many of you are in the chat, people. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, people. So Odegaard's going to play a couple of friendlies before he has a break. On the decision to make Odegaard captain, he said it's a big decision. He's a leader in his own way with his character. He's a fantastic person and footballer. What he's doing at his age is not easy. We're really happy to have him. On Odegaard adding goals to his game, he said that's what you want. Your attacking midfielders to win games and not only to assist, but score goals. He's changed that mentality. He's practicing a lot, and he wants to get to his best, which we don't know what his limit is. Like many of the other kids that we have, that's what we want. Embrace the good moments and support them when they're not, people. Yeah, he's improved. Listen, Odegaard for me has got to be hitting double figures this year. On Granit Xhaka coming off, he said he's fine. He wasn't feeling good. And for Granit to put his hand up and say, I need to come off, he wasn't feeling good at all. Well, we had a few boys with some tummy issues. They had the frutney bits, people. And obviously, we cannot change 3 or 4 in the first half. But I'm delighted that we adapted to those circumstances. That chef in Wolverhampton, man, he gave us some dodgy food. I know what he was doing. When you're in a relegation battle, you got to do what you got to do. But he's saying 3 or 4 players had the runny belly, people. On reflecting on our season, he said, I need a week or so to do that. Obviously, nobody expected us to be where we are right now and the amount of games that we have managed to win. But I'm more focused on our way of playing and our way of living together, the atmosphere that we have in this dressing room and around Colney, and what we have generated with our supporters in our stadium and the relationship between every member of the club. That's much more powerful. My job is to focus after on playing better every game. The atmosphere has been fantastic. It's man said it's bitty squitty committee. Dark thoughts. The man said dark thoughts, not even dark arts. Well, go on, Big C. Hope you're well. Big up everyone tuned in on Twitch and on YouTube. People really appreciate it. Make sure you like the video. On whether there was a sickness bug in the team hotel. He said not overnight. I think it was after the pre-match meal. I didn't even know about it. The doctor was trying to get some place sorted because they weren't feeling good. That's what happens when you stop at the local McDonald's, you know what I mean? On whether he and the team watched the Manchester City game, he said, yes, we were on the bus. We all watched together like we normally do with many other games. On the team's reaction when Ivan Toney scored against Manchester City, he said, as you can imagine. See, I'm telling you, man, he's going for Pep. He's not being nice and saying, oh, Pep. Man said, as you can imagine, man, when Ivan Toney scored, we was all celebrating, clearly. So big him up. We're going for Pep. Definitely Lasagna Gate. Dodgy pre-match meal, 3 or 4 players. There's a chef there, an ex-Wolves player has tried to do something there. Don Goodman. If you know, you know. The old school players. Steve Bull and them, man. Nando's moving bowels, man. Ivan Toney, man, big him up. Like I said the other day, people, big up Ivan Toney on behalf of the Arsenal fan base. He done his thing, man. And listen, we're going to talk about it shortly anyway, but can we do it? And you know what I mean when I ask that question. Richard G said, bless up, Big C. Really love your content. Gets me through my work in the morning. Are you going to the World Cup? If so, I think we should have a Gooner link up. We'll be there to support Canada. Come on, you Gunners. Just to give you a bit of insight, I won't be going to the World Cup. I believe Robbie's going out there with a couple of people. He'll be covering the World Cup for a few weeks, so big him up. In terms of my plans, I will be doing some watch-alongs for the World Cup games, the better games. We'll be doing live streams most days still about Arsenal, especially when there's plenty of news. A lot of transfer news will start now. Going to do some collabs with some people now that things have slowed down. And obviously, we'll see what happens with Arsenal. Arsenal will be going on tour to Dubai. So we may have some watch-alongs for that, or we may, you never know, we may even get Shaw on tour back again, people. Let's see. But yeah, I won't be going to the World Cup, but we'll have plenty of content. On whether thinking about other teams can make you lose focus, he said that's the way that you live in this league. That's the beauty, and you start to do that on the second game of the season because the competition is so big that you're really looking at other opponents, and I think it's something that every team does. When I've been in other teams, we used to do it all the time as a player or as a coach, and it's natural. But when you have to focus on your own thing, your own performance and winning the game, this week I think it was very tricky because there were too many things around the World Cup and certain individuals, but the boys did what they have to do. That is the end of waffle settings for this first part of the season, people. So we will be back with more waffle. Boxing Day, we play against West Ham. So we will be back. We are going to do some shows. This is what I want to do. Mid-season review. How has the season gone so far? We're going to look at the transfer window. How were those signings who came in at the start of the season? How would you rate those signings so far? What are you hoping for in January? Loads of things. We got lots to talk about. I want to collab with some people as well that I've been, we've been messaging and we've been like, listen, just wait for the break, then we'll collab. So I want to do some collabs, get some different guests on who maybe haven't been on before or people who haven't been on for a while. So lots to come, people. And like I said, you never know. Once they announce this Dubai trip, then maybe, you never know. Maybe we get traveling again. Let's see. Let's just get the Premier League table up. Why not? Makes sense. It looks beautiful. It's a thing of beauty, people. To be honest, I just want the Premier League to end right now. Just end it. Yeah, me and Turkish, we're talking as well, definitely. Saeed, Turkish people saying, yeah, man, we'll definitely get shows going. Let them do what they do then, man's warming our courtesy, boy. Yeah, let them do it, man. Waffle not too bad for dessert. Not bad, man. But that 5-point gap looks healthy, people. And listen, man said, end the Prem, Dave. Yeah, I'm telling you, end it. Can we do it, people? And what needs to happen for us to do it? That is the question I asked Kevin Campbell the other day. He said, number one, you've got to keep your team fit. Number two, you need Emile Smith-Rowe back, he said. And number three, you've got to sign. And I totally agreed with that. I think those three things, I would add the Fabio Vieira factor to the Emile Smith-Rowe factor as well. We need the majority of this starting 11 to stay fit all season. We need to be at full strength. There's a couple of positions in the team we can get away with it. Zinchenko, Tierney, those positions, they're similar. Ben White, Tomiyasu at right back, we can get away with that. But not many other positions are we like for like. This starting 11 needs to stay fit most of the season. Second of all, Fabio Vieira and ESR, for me, can be like new signings second half of the season. Vieira, have your mini pre-season. Get fit, get a bit stronger. You've acclimatized now. Hopefully you come back a better player. Smith-Rowe, I think, can be instrumental because he's a goal scorer off the bench who can give us another big option, which we don't have usually. And the third one is the transfers. If these guys are serious, then we have a chance. Are the Kroenkes, it's in my title today, are the Kroenkes about that life? Are they going to go for it? Are they going to bring the checkbook out and spend the money that's required for us to go for the title? The time is now, people. I'm sorry, and I've said this before and I won't stop saying it. For me right now, if we end up finishing fourth or third and we don't go for it in January, I think we've missed a huge opportunity. Sometimes in life, opportunities find themselves into your lap at the time that you least expect it, and you've got to take it. I think Manchester City look vulnerable. Are they the best team in the league? Yeah, when they're at it, I'd say they are. But defensively, let's be real, people. Brentford could have scored 5 against them the other day. Ivan Toney should have scored a hat-trick. They could have scored 5. City look like they can be got at. They look like they can be got at. Most of their team is going to the World Cup as well, by the way. And they look totally different. I almost think Haaland, he's ripped the Premier League apart this season, but I almost think Haaland's made Man City worse in a crazy way. I feel like now they're trying to play through him, where when he wasn't there, they played their way and just won games and battered teams. Where now I'm seeing De Bruyne just spamming crosses in front. Now, don't get me wrong, they could still go and win the league by 10, 12 points. But I'm telling you, I want to see Arsenal go for it. I want them to try. I want them to go and spend 60, 70 million in January and have a go. Because I think it's possible if we're up for it. Pep's talking about he may not extend his contract. That kind of uncertainty can really derail a season. If Man City were to believe that Pep might be leaving, that's a big, big problem in their dressing room. I'm telling you now. So we need to take advantage of it, people. So let's talk transfers. Let's talk transfers. Now, a story going around today. And again, I don't like to keep talking about these names because it does become a little bit tedious and boring. Fabrizio, again, last night was on court offside. Speaking about Mudryk, and he said, I think Arsenal is the perfect place for Mudryk. Premier League, ambitious project, young players, excellent manager and board. He claims they want £51 million for him. Is he worth it? As I've said, I can't say that he's worth £51 million because I haven't seen enough of him. But we need to go and get players in and go for it. Because like you're saying, let's be totally honest, right? If you offered Pep the Premier League or the Champions League now, he'd take the Champions League. That's the one he's desperate for. That's the one he really wants. Can we catch them in a situation where they take their eye off the ball a little bit? He's already getting to a point where Haaland's having to be rested in certain games. Go and look at Haaland's injury record at Dortmund. Not long injuries, but quite a few injuries, muscular injuries. He's still in his early 20s. He's probably still growing. Is he struggling to deal with the intensity of the Premier League? Can Haaland play 38 league games with the Champions League, with the Carabao Cup, with the FA Cup? Later on in the season, you may see a drop-off from Haaland, or you may see injuries creeping in. So, listen, as I said, I don't know with Mudryk. I don't know if he's the answer. I really don't. Because I haven't seen enough of him. Is he worth 51 million? I don't know. I think there are wingers that you could get for cheaper than that may be better. But he could potentially be a future superstar. And sometimes you do have to gamble on players a little bit earlier in their career to get them cheaper. Rather than, if he goes to Dortmund or someone like that, you may have to pay 100 million for him. So, I mean, let's see. Let's see, people. It's an interesting one, and we're going to have to see. But do you trust the Kroenkes? Let's finish off with a final poll. I won't even say, do you trust the Kroenkes? Do you think the Kroenkes will invest in January? The Kroenkes will invest in January. And I mean properly invest. Not a lone player that doesn't make a lot of difference. I'm talking a game changer that takes us to another level. And how much will they invest? So Mudryk, we've spoken about him again. More polls than a strip club, people. Obviously, they spun this PR out the other day through Sam Dean. Josh Kroenkes is more engaged and involved in Arsenal than ever before. There's been a renewed level of excitement among board members with the recent improvements. Now, I was a little bit critical of him. And some people, one person in particular, he sent me a long message and he said, listen, he said, my criticism of the Kroenkes was unfair. He said, we can't tarnish Josh with the same brush that we tarnished Stan with. Josh has done interviews. Josh has been quite visible at games. He's spoken openly about the club. And you know what? I'm going to be totally honest. He had a point. He did have a point. I'm not saying I'm convinced by them because I'm not. I still believe we can get a far better owner than these. And I haven't seen a good enough January to convince me that when we are in a good position, that they're willing to go for it. Because last year, top four should have been bagged. But we didn't get the striker. Why did we not get the striker? Was that down to them? Was that because someone wasn't available? If he's saying it's all PR, is Josh all PR? Or is he about that life? I'm still not convinced. I do think Josh has a slightly better... How can I put it? I think he looks at Arsenal in a slightly better light than Stan does. It may be because he's younger and he's trying to prove himself. I think he's probably thinking, you know what? They're very critical of Stan at Arsenal. I want to prove that I can turn this around. It's a very similar model to what they've used in America with some of their franchises. Young coach, young players, grow together and be successful. However, ultimately, I'm sure he doesn't have control of the bank card. He's still going to have to ring his dad and say, Dad, can I sign that 50 million off? So is it going to work? I don't know. I don't have complete faith in him, but I'm willing to be convinced. It's fixed now, finally, people. 1.6k in the chat. Thank you very much to each and every one of you, as always, for your fantastic support. Can we get 1,000 likes? And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, people. Do you think the Kroenkes are going to go for it in January. When I say go for it, I mean like if he wants a midfielder, you can go and spend 30, 40 million on Tielemans, or Tielemans will be cheaper. Or if you want Danilo, 26 million, go and pay it. If you want Mudryk, 51 million, go and pay it. You know, that kind of level I'm talking about. So, as I said with me, I don't fully trust the Kroenkes. I don't. I need more convincing. I need to see more evidence that they have genuinely changed. A couple of big summers is still not enough to make up for everything they've done wrong, in my opinion. But it is a base to work from, and I need to see a significant January from Arsenal, 2 or 3 players, and really go for it. That would be a big part of convincing me. A big point, what a lot of you have said, is, are we running into financial fair play problems? Because as I said, financial fair play is genuine. And we spent 150 million last summer and 125 million this summer. And you look at the last 2 summers, I think the only player we sold for significant money was Joe Willock last year for 25 million. This year, I think our biggest transfer out of the club was Lucas Torreira, 5.5 million. So there's no way that those books can be balanced. We must be totally unbalanced. So they said we was on a hit list, that we're getting close to being in the red zone where people are going to start investigating. If that is the case, unless we sell somebody for a significant amount of money in January, are Arsenal even in a position where they can go and spend 60, 70 million in this January transfer window? I don't know. My worry is that they're going to turn around and say, get in the Champions League and then go and spend big in the summer. Because if you're thinking from a business point of view, how they think, we would be thinking as fans, go and spend money, get us over the line, you might be able to go and win the title. They might be thinking, you know what? This guy's massively overachieving. We're top of the league. We look pretty much, you would think we're going to be secure of top 4. I won't spend anything. We don't need to. That's my worry, that they might start thinking like that. That's where I'm concerned. Simply Solomon, you're right. Guendouzi was the biggest, 9 million. Still an absolute shambles that we sold a French international centre midfielder for £9 million. And he's in their World Cup squad, by the way. That's a ridiculous deal. Alfred, hope you're well, bro. He said, woke up throwing up this morning. The height at the top of the table got me sick. I genuinely thought he was unwell until I read the end of it. Listen, I've been dizzy all season, people. We're so high. You call me Dizzy Rascal, people. These heights are getting to me, man. But I like it. It's good here at the top of the mountain. I'm telling you. Nomad said, thoughts on Garnacho. Listen, listen, I know he doesn't play for Arsenal, and I'm going to keep it 100. He looks a heck of a young player. He looks a heck of a young player. What I would say is give him time. Man United fans in particular are watching this. Don't overhype him too much, because I remember Januzaj looked like a top player for you as well as a youngster. Didn't happen. Remember, is it Makeda? You know, that moment we thought he was going to blow up. He didn't. I do look at that Garnacho and think he's really got something special about him. It's the low centre of gravity. It's the way he moves the ball. But he's at Man United. It's going to take a lot for him to get to that level. Couple of good games doesn't put you up there yet. He's got a lot more he's got to prove. But certainly looks as if he's got the potential. That is for sure. Rashford blew up. Some would say he hasn't fulfilled potential. Some would say he has. Cedric said the next Iheanacho, the next Obertan. Memphis Depay said Arun. Yeah, but these owners, will they spend? Neil said Guendouzi ain't that good, Curtis. No one came in for him. Let's be real. The French league is his ceiling. Let's see at the World Cup. You know, if he plays for France and performs, he probably won't start, to be honest. Would you take Giroud back? Listen, Giroud, if I'm being totally honest, as a player, he would be an ideal second choice striker for us right now. Ideal. Target man, can put crosses in, link up with our 2 young wingers. When Giroud was at Arsenal, we had wingers that didn't cross the ball, really. Sanchez was a goal-scoring winger. Walcott was a goal-scoring winger. There was no real link-up. Those 3 wasn't ideal. I actually think Giroud would be fantastic for Saka and for Martinelli, because he links up play. But it is what it is. It's hard for me to talk about Giroud in a positive light because he went 15 games without scoring and cost us a title. He then went to Chelsea and trolled us, which I didn't understand why he got a round of applause when he came back to the Emirates with Chelsea, because I was not applauding him. I don't forget that, people. I don't forget it. Let's get into a few of your comments before we round up. Not too much news today. At the start, we spoke about Ronaldo, so rewind back if you want to get into that. I was trolling a little bit. Would you take him at Arsenal? Ronaldo set to be fined £1 million by Man United. Probably pocket change for him. Bala said Rafael Leao, I think they've got 100 million plus release clause for him, so it costs you a fortune. Smart Cookie said Rodgers has ruled out the January sale of transfer target Tielemans. Listen, if in the summer Leicester were having financial difficulty, right? There was a lot of talk that Leicester were in financial problems, which is why they didn't hardly sign anyone. But they sold Fofana for 75 million and they let Kasper Schmeichel go. So I would imagine financially they're not struggling that much. They may think it's better to keep Tielemans, stay in the Premier League rather than selling him for 20 million and risking getting relegated. So it's a difficult one. It's about how ambitious Arsenal are. If they go in for him, offer decent money and Tielemans is pushing for the move, my concern is Tielemans. I think nowadays players want to let the contract run out and get the signing on fee. I would imagine Tielemans going to want to stay till the summer and walk on a free. Because on a free, he will get an even bigger move. Curtis, congrats to you as an Englishman on winning the World Cup. What are your thoughts on England winning? Yeah, big them up, man. Look, England and the West Indies are the two that I really look at in the cricket. So big up. Yeah, it was a big win for them. Arsenal will sign him on a free. Cheapskates, yeah, probably. We'd like to see him now. Wenger said Sanchez was not going to be sold in January. Yeah, he was multiple times he said it. Oh, there's no way we'll let Cesc Fabregas leave. Next minute, he's in a Barcelona kit. That's the thing, Curtis. We don't seem to want those types. Listen, we don't seem to want any striker, Patrick. We're not being linked with strikers. We never mentioned strikers. Mikel Arteta in a press conference, he's only ever spoke about wingers and centre midfielders. Gunnar Colt said France has already won the World Cup. Not sure why people don't know this. Listen, we're going to do maybe a World Cup preview on Friday, I think. I think we'll talk about that. Who you think's going to win it, player of the tournament. We'll do a little preview. Danish Alvi, I like how man puts up my chat but never acknowledges. There you go, man. Patience is a virtue, my friend. All About Football said Barella from Inter. Very good player. Doesn't seem keen to leave Serie A. Always difficult with players. A lot of Italian players don't really want to leave. Milinkovic-Savic playing hard for a move, and I mean he's playing like he wants the Lazio to let him go for free. South London's finally said Argentina all the way. Osimhen would be a good signing, would cost a fortune. Immobile, I mean he's getting on now, scores a lot of goals. Barella has interest from Real Madrid. Man did as dirty. Wenger did as dirty before he sold our players, 100%. Let's finish with this. Elliot said, Tielemans in the summer. Mudryk and Danilo right now. Don't think Zaha will return. Sorry, Curtis. Listen, big up to each and every one of you for tuning in. We've been on for 1 hour and 7 minutes. Like the video on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. We will be back on tomorrow. Yeah, we'll go again tomorrow. So make sure you tune in. Thank you very much for your support as always. Have a brilliant Monday. And I will see you all soon, people. Bless.